Okay, I wanted to redo the intro of this video because I didn't really make my point very well. But this is evil Supermen. We're all sick of seeing them. There's such an oversaturation of evil Supermen. Yes and no. I think the biggest problem with it is the fact that Man of Steel Superman, like Henry Cavill Superman, is kind of an evil Superman. So it feels like there's like no regular Superman around right now. But hey, there's a reboot of the Superman franchise coming out soonish called Superman Legacy. And you know what? Before that movie can go into production, we gotta kill off all the evil Supermen so that they can't do an evil Superman story. We gotta get rid of them all. We gotta just, like, you know, we'll let them fight, and then we'll just get rid of them. And then hopefully we can have a little break from evil Supermen being everywhere. So yeah, let me talk about the candidates now. Alright, so let's start with Homelander. Everybody knows Homelander is the evil Superman. I put Homelander in the first slot here because I think he's the most successful evil Superman. At least in the TV show. In the comics, he's a fairly standard evil Superman in that he's comically evil, I guess because he's in a comic book, perhaps. And it's just like kind of played out. But in the show, there's a little bit more detail paid to the fun part of it, which is pretending to be a good guy, which is why things like, you know, Suicide Squad and the Thunderbolts are so popular. Anyway, next up we have General Zod. I think Zod was like the original evil Superman, kind of. There's one before him, but he's probably the most well-known evil Superman, although I guess maybe Homelander might be more well-known than him now, but whatever. He's just another Kryptonian, but older and more militaristic, and so he fights Superman over Earth, obviously. But after that, I just like started pulling whatever brain cells I had to get these ones, so now they're in no particular order. Next up we have Kid Miracle Man. Apparently there was a hero called Miracle Man who was like British Superman, and then he had like a sidekick, like a Superboy, but then in like an edgy 90s reboot, the Superboy became this like evil guy and he blew up London. So British Superman. There you go. Next up we have Sentry, who I personally have an attachment to for no real good reason. But anyway, he's actually not really an evil Superman, but he does carry a world-ending monster called the Void in him. So he is kind of an evil Superman thing. Like, oh, if his powers go out of control, which is like basically what all these Superman stories are about. So yeah, if you want to root for anybody and you're like, I don't want to root for an evil Superman, then you can root for Sentry, I guess. Next up is Hyperion, which is like Marvel's version of Superman, but evil. And sometimes he's like not that bad a guy, but most of the time he's an evil Superman. Lord Superman, which is Superman from another dimension, where the Justice, what is it? Justice Lords, the Justice Lords, and they like took over the world. So, you know, classic. Next up we have Plutonian, which is a Superman, but his super hearing causes him to hear all the bad stuff people say about him, and then he kind of goes crazy. So that's cool. Dark Side Superman. I bet you can't guess what this Elseworld story has Superman, or who this Elseworld story has Superman working for. Who could it be? Dark Side Superman. Which character? So yeah, it's Superman working for Darkseid, which is kind of horrifying to think about, but also I'd never heard of this one, so it probably was like a one-off comic. I don't know. This is a fun little piece of Superman trivia. The original Superman story, which was the Reign of the Superman, was more of like a monster. What would you call that? Not a monster movie because it's a book, but you know what I mean. A similar sort of idea as that, where like Superman was the monster and took over the world. So literally, the failed sort of pilot for Superman is an evil Superman. So kind of crazy that that's still something that comes up all the time, huh? Super Shock is like Superman that like doesn't have morals. A very like kind of safe evil Superman. It's like, that's basically Kid Miracle Man and Lord Superman and Ultraman and Injustice Superman and Cyborg Superman. That's basically all of them. So, and Alpha One. Anyway, Omni-Man, we all know Omni-Man from famous show Invincible, doing the classic think pose. So yeah, I don't think I have to explain that. Another decently successful take, I guess, at an evil Superman, though he's not the main character or anything, which I guess isn't necessarily the case for all of these other Supermen either, but they're generally portrayed as like fallen heroes, whereas Omni-Man is I guess technically he's a fallen hero, but he was never good in the first place, you know what I mean? Next up is Lex Luthor. Of course, Lex Luthor took a shot at being Superman at some point. He just had like a super suit. And I do believe this is the comic where Superman loses powers and then Lex gets them for a while. And then he's like, oh my god, I can see everything. And then he kind of comes to a realization about Superman. But I'm not exactly sure. That might be a different one. Anyway, of course, there was a Lex Luthor Superman. Red Sun Superman, which you might be fooled to think is just communist Superman. But it's also communist superweapon Superman. Basically, what would happen if Superman was owned by the government, which, you know, never good. Injustice Superman, which I hate the most. I could just never, every time I heard about Injustice, I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever heard of. I think that was definitely the point where I was at evil Superman burnout, but here he is anyway. I believe the story with Injustice Superman is that, like, the Joker kills Lois Lane or something, or just like Lois Lane dies and then he murders the Joker. I don't remember. Anyway, Black Adam. If you don't know who Black Adam is, this gift should give you a hint, you know? Yeah. Funnily enough, there's actually just a character called Evil Superman in Superman 3, like the original movies. Well, I guess they weren't even the originals, but you know, the ones that are just called Superman, not Man of Steel. And it's basically just like Superman's evil twin, which is kind of honestly not that common among all of these, which is kind of crazy. Next up is Ultraman, who's another evil Superman from another dimension. Very similar to Lord Superman, now that I think about it. I believe he also runs like the Injustice League or something, right? No, right. Ultraman comes from a universe where all the villains are good guys and all the heroes are bad guys. That's right. I remember. I'm pretty sure that's true. Hopefully I'm right. So yeah, Ultraman, evil. Next is Exodus, which is like a mutant that's kind of like Superman. This one was kind of a stretch, I'll be honest. But he's got like laser eyes, as you can see and stuff. It's just like an X-Man villain that's kind of like Superman. He was like a Knights Templar who got turned into a mutant by Apocalypse or something. It's kind of hard to understand without more context, but yeah. Supreme, a Superman parody that's very, it goes into all those played out tropes, that was created by Rob Liefeld. Do you know who that is? It's the guy who drew this. So yeah, you can kind of tell when you pay attention to the picture. But pretty funny to just call him Supreme. It's like, Superman? No, Supreme! Anyway, Cyborg Superman, Superboy, and Eradicator, at least this version, I believe, were all sort of fake Supermen that popped up after Superman died fighting Doomsday. It's called like the Reign of the Supermen. Cyborg Superman is like just a guy who's evil that tried to take over the role. Superboy is like a Lex Luthor clone of Superman, and he's not really all that evil. I do believe he comes around by the end of the comics run, but you know, he is a literal evil clone of Superman, so how could I not include him? Eradicator, I think, was some sort of Kryptonian builder program or something that went rogue. I heard that at least my mind is telling me that he had something to do with building the Fortress of Solitude. I don't remember about anything else, but just like Superman with evil glasses, that's all you need to know. Alpha One is a very sort of typical evil Superman, kind of a Homelander-ish, I'm a good guy, but actually is evil kind of thing. And then Bizarro is another literal mirror world evil Superman. He's not really evil, just doesn't understand how the world works. Honestly, another character you could root for and it wouldn't be bad. As a not really that bad of a guy. Alright, so let's proceed. The bloodbath, we return, and the horn sounds. So Lord Superman runs away. Super Shock grabs a shield leaning on the cornucopia. Sentry grabs a jar of fishing bait while Ultraman gets fishing gear. It's going to be very funny that all these Supermen are just like fishing and stuff, you know? Eradicator runs away. Hyperion runs away. Black Adam and Darkseid Superman fight for a bag, but Darkseid gives up and retreats. That's very funny. Exodus runs away. Bizarro runs away. Alpha 1 runs away. Zod grabs a shield. Okay. Superboy runs, Red Sun runs, Plutonian runs, Evil Superman grabs a shovel. Cool. Supreme runs, Injustice Superman retrieves a trident from inside the cornucopia. Oh, it's Aquaman's trident. Lex Luthor runs, Original Superman grabs a sword. Kid Miracle Man finds a bow, some arrows, and a quiver. Or Cyborg Superman runs away, Homelander runs away, and Omni-Man runs away. Everybody ran away. It's very funny. I guess they all kind of just like, boof, flew away. Lord Superman defeats General Zod in a fight but spares his life. Join me. Injustice Superman gets food. Kid Miracle Man picks flowers. Yeah, I'm sure that's what he's up to. Supreme defeats Red Sun but spares his life. Interesting. Ultraman goes hunting. Omni-Man is original, split up. Eradicator chases Darkseid. Superboy stalks the Sentry. Crazy. Homelander and Hyperion fight Alpha 1 and Plutonian. Alpha 1 and Plutonian survive. Oh, wow. So Homelander and Hyperion, probably the two most well-known knockoff evil Supermen, are gone. Crazy. Exodus practices his archery. I guess Hyperion isn't that well-known anymore, but like before this evil Superman wave happened, he would have been. Lex Luthor sees smoke rising in the distance, but doesn't investigate. Super Shock attempts to climb a tree, but falls to his death. How? I guess it was a kryptonite tree or whatever his super weakness would be. Bizarro taints evil Superman 3's food, killing him. That's very funny. Bizarro asks him if he likes poison, and he says no. And then he puts the poison in because to Bizarro, no means yes. So cool. Anyway, Black Adam discovers a river, and Cyborg Superman hunts for other tributes. No, okay, well, Homelander and Hyperion died in a fight, but everybody else was just like the victim of circumstance. Pretty funny. Plutonian and Lord Superman tell stories about themselves to each other. Oh man, you know, I made this so that the evil Supermen would fight and kill each other, so we wouldn't have to deal with them anymore. But what if they all team up? Uh-oh. Sentry, Ultraman, Darkseid, and Red Sun sleep in shifts. Bizarro gets fresh food. Black Adam bashes General Zod's head against a rock several times. Did he die? I'm assuming he died. Exodus tries to treat an infection. Eradicator and the original talk about this living tributes. Injustice convinces Cyborg Superman to snuggle with him. I can't imagine that would be comfortable. He's made of metal, but okay. Omni-Man, Alpha 1, and Kid Miracle Man sleep in shifts. Superboy tries to treat an infection. Lex Luthor bleeds out due to untreated injuries. I guess he was only human. And Supreme cries himself to sleep. Okay. Cyborg Superman goes hunting. Alpha 1, Ultraman, Superboy, and Kid Miracle Man hunt for tributes together. Red Sun, Plutonian, Supreme, Omni-Man, and Omni-Man raid Injustice Superman's camp while he's hunting. The original Superman injures himself? I don't remember. Exodus discovers a cave. Lord Superman gets clean water. Eradicator retrieves a hatchet. Black Adam runs away from Darkseid Superman. And Sentry stalks Bizarro. Very funny. Alright. 2 deaths, and it was both of the actual villains. Plutonian and Ultraman talk about the tributes still alive. Cyborg Superman silently snaps Injustice's neck. Wow, that's interesting. Superman's never done a neck snap before. He would never. That would be something only an evil Superman would do. Anyway, Superboy, Sentry, and Exodus cheerfully sing songs together. These are like the 3... I don't know about Exodus, but these are like the 3 more heroic evil Supermen, so that kind of makes sense, I guess. Original Superman and Alpha 1 run into each other and decide to truce for the night. Bizarro starts a fire. Lord Superman tries to treat an infection. There's just kryptonite all over the arena. Everybody has to keep treating infections with it. Darkseid quietly hums. Omni-Man thinks about home. Red Sun cries himself to sleep. Supreme climbs a tree to rest. Eradicator, Kid Miracle Man, and Black Adam are cheerfully singing songs together. Okay, this is like the ominous singing songs together. Whoa, that was way too much. This is ominous song singing, and this is actually cheerful song singing. Okay. Exodus picks flowers. Omni-Man travels to higher ground. Kid Miracle Man explores the arena. Black Adam sees smoke but doesn't investigate. Superboy receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Probably Lex Luthor, I guess from a different universe. That's kind of how this works anyway. Sentry strangles Lord Superman with a rope. Cool. Red Sun is pricked by thorns while picking berries. Oh no. Ultraman begs for Bizarro to kill him. He refuses, keeping Ultraman alive. That's literally... Kill me. Oh, you want me to save you? You know, Bizarro thinks of everything backwards, so awesome. Cyborg Superman defeats the Plutonian, but spares his life. Darkseid discovers a river. Original Superman makes a wooden spear. Alpha 1 receives clean water. Supreme receives medical supplies. And Eradicator is pricked by thorns also. Very cool. The original Superman and Sentry talk about the living tributes. Black Adam and Plutonian huddle for warmth. This is the face that Black Adam was making that whole time, eh? Bizarro, Darkseid Superman, Superboy, Omni-Man, and Supreme track down and kill Cyborg Superman. I think that's a bit overkill, but okay. Can 5 Supermen defeat 1 robot Superman? Apparently yes. Ultraman tends to Red Sun's wounds. Exodus fends Kid Miracle Man, Alpha 1, and Eradicator away from his fire. Interesting. Plutonian defeats Superboy in a fight, but spares his life. Okay. Eradicator accidentally detonates a landmine while trying to arm it. Okay, cool. Original Superman explores the arena. Omni-Man stabs Sentry while his back is turned. No! Literally a backstabber. Again. Backstabbed in the original series, too. Bizarro kills Kid Miracle Man with a sickle. Okay. Black Adam attacks Darkseid, but he manages to escape. Supreme receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. I don't think explosives are necessary, but okay. Exodus defeats Alpha 1, but spares his life. Red Sun travels to higher ground. Ultraman's pricked by thorns. Lots of getting pricked by thorns, okay? Red Sun gets a hatchet. Alpha 1 doesn't sleep. Plutonian tries to sleep, but doesn't, I guess. Superman thinks about home. Ultraman sees a fire, but stays hidden. Black Adam and the original Superman run into each other and decide to truce for the night. Bizarro pushes Darkseid Superman off a cliff during a knife fight. And I guess because of his heavy armor, he can't fly and he just drowns. Cool. Exodus, Omni-Man, and Supreme are cheerfully singing songs together. Oh, God. Bizarro receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Plutonian camouflages himself in the bushes. Supreme stalks Black Adam. Red Sun receives a hatchet. Ultraman overpowers Omni-Man and kills him. Alright. Alpha 1 bleeds out due to untreated injuries. And Exodus attacks the original Superman, but Superboy protects him, killing Exodus. Interesting, but, okay. Arena event. Whoa! Wolf mutts are let loose in the arena. Okay. Ultraman survives. Bizarro knocks the original Superman out and leaves him for the wolf mutts. Okay. Supreme knocks Superboy out. No, not Superboy. Black Adam survives, Plutonian gets eaten, and Red Sun survives. Okay, cool. Are we in the final 5? That was a lot of death. Are we in the final 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, final 5. Here we go. Ultraman, Black Adam, Bizarro, and Supreme tell ghost stories to lighten the mood. And Red Sun gets an explosive. Uh-oh, you're the odd one out, Red Sun. You might want to watch yourself. It's the feast. Ultraman doesn't go, Supreme doesn't go. Red Sun falls into a frozen lake and drowns, and nobody, the other two decide not to go. Okay, well, I guess we should have seen this coming when he was the odd one out, huh? Ultraman makes a wooden spear. Seems ineffective, but okay. Supreme gets an explosive. Bizarro practices archery, and Black Adam tries to spear fish with a trident. It's Aquaman's trident again. Alright. Supreme climbs a tree to rest. Bizarro tends to Ultraman's wounds, and Black Adam receives clean water. These guys are all like kind of trucing for this moment. Very interesting. Supreme tries to sleep through the entire day. Black Adam is pricked by thorns while picking berries. Oh no. Bizarro constructs a shack, and Ultraman camouflages himself. Cool. Nobody dies. Bizarro lets Black Adam into his shelter. Supreme goes to sleep. Ultraman screams for help. Holy crap! Bizarro silently snaps Black Adam's neck. Literally, come in, and then just... Okay. Ultraman practices archery, and Supreme searches for firewood. Alright. Supreme stays awake all night, while Bizarro strangles Ultraman with a rope. Bizarro's kind of going crazy here. This is probably the last one, so here we go. Bizarro bleeds out due to untreated injuries. He got so beat up killing the other Superman, he just gave it to Supreme. Now I have to learn more about this character I don't care about, because he's going to be important for later. Man, why could it fit anyone that I know? Okay, well, Supreme wins. Let's look at the stats. Bizarro got 7 kills? Surely that has to be the most kills a character has ever got in one of these that I've done, anyway. Wow. Okay, well that was unexpected. Bizarro, people kept begging for mercy from Bizarro, and he's like, well, if you insist, I'll kill you then, I guess. Not a good plan. Okay, well, that's it. Welcome back to Hunger Games. Here's a fun thing I can do. Previous winners. I don't want to spoil them, but there's some interesting matchups certain to occur as we go on. If you don't know, because it's been a while, why I keep saying about previous winners and stuff is that once we reach 24 videos, I'm going to do a battle of the champions, I guess, of each of these videos. There's a playlist on the channel. I'm going to probably put it at the end of on the end card as well if you want to watch more of them. And yeah, I believe this is like the 15th or 16th video, so we're getting close. And I think before the end of the year, I want to have this finished. So let's do it. If you've got any ideas for future iterations of this, let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.